My name is Amara. I grew up in Enugu, but after my marriage, I moved to Port Harcourt to live with my husband, Victor. When I first met Victor, he seemed like the perfect man. He was gentle, respectful, and always spoke kindly to me. My friends even told me I was lucky to have found such a caring man. When he proposed, I didn't hesitate to say yes. I believed I had found the man I would spend the rest of my life with. Our wedding was simple but beautiful. That day, I felt hopeful and excited about the future we were about to build together. But not long after the wedding, things began to change. Victor slowly started showing a different side of himself. He became easily irritated and angry over small things. If the house was not perfectly clean, he would complain. If I asked him simple questions, he would respond harshly. At first, I thought it was just stress from work. His name was Daniel Johnson. At first, I ignored it. But the next day, he sent another message, politely introducing himself. He said he had seen a comment I left on a motivational page. Eventually, I replied. We began talking once in a while. Daniel told me he worked overseas and had been living there for years. Our conversations were simple at first, just casual talk about life. But one night, he asked me something that caught me off guard. Amara, are you truly happy? I didn't know how to answer. Somehow, the question opened a door inside me. Slowly, I began telling him what my life had become. I told him about Victor's anger. I told him about the fear I lived with. And finally, I told him about the beatings. Daniel was shocked and angry when he heard my story. He kept telling me that no woman deserved to live that way. After that, he started checking on me often. Every morning, he would send a message asking how I was doing. Sometimes he reminded me to stay strong and not lose hope. For the first time in a long while, I felt like someone cared about my well-being. Then one day, Daniel surprised me by sending me some money. I refused at first, but he insisted that it was only to help me take care of myself. It wasn't really about the money. It was the kindness that touched me. Then one evening, during an argument, he pushed me. I was shocked. I stood there in silence, not believing what had just happened. He later apologized and promised it would never happen again. But it did. Soon, the pushing turned into slaps, and the slaps turned into beatings. Sometimes it was because food was late. Sometimes it was because I asked where he had been all night. Within a year of marriage, my life had turned into something I never imagined. I lived in fear every day. I stopped calling friends and rarely visited my family because I didn't want them to see the pain I was hiding. Many nights I cried quietly so he wouldn't hear me. One evening, while using Instagram to distract myself, I received a message from someone I didn't know. Months passed, and my situation at home became worse. One night after Victor beat me badly during an argument, I locked myself in the bathroom and cried for hours. My lip was bleeding and my body ached. I sent Daniel a message and told him what had happened. That night, he said something I never expected. Amara, you don't have to stay there. I can help you leave. At first, I thought he was just trying to comfort me, but he meant it. Over the next few weeks, he began explaining how he could help me travel abroad. I was terrified. Part of me wondered if I was making a terrible mistake. But another part of me knew I couldn't continue living the way I was. Daniel started helping with the paperwork and arrangements. Step by step, everything began to fall into place. When my travel documents were finally approved, I felt a mixture of fear and relief. The day I left Nigeria, Victor believed I was going to spend a few days with a friend. He didn't even question it. After a long journey, I finally landed in a new country. Daniel came to pick me up at the airport. He looked just like his photos and welcomed me warmly. For the first time in years, I felt a sense of peace. But later that night, after we arrived at his apartment, something unexpected happened. I noticed something about the house that made my heart sink instantly. Disappointed face, broken heart.